Hey guys, it is finally here. This book, as you're seeing it right now, is 100% completed. It has been a wild journey, over 2 years in the making. I have made 20 plus episodes that have gained thousands and thousands of views that I never thought I would get on my channel. The amount of support I've received for this series is unimaginable, and the amount you guys have been pressuring me to finally put out this final episode is insane. So we need to get straight into these last few pages before I talk about what is next. This is it, folks. Here we are. With our first page of the day, we have create a miracle. Make the impossible possible. Clearly, since this is the last episode, it took me forever to think of an idea for this one. Even as I'm cutting up the paper here and preparing to begin, I actually don't really have an idea. And you can see me stalling. So I decided to cover the camera and come back with a finished sketch. Woo, look at that. So, butterflies, flowers, clouds.
What's your idea exactly?
I really still didn't have one. I decided to instead come up with an actual idea. I just drew a bunch of pretty things on the page. I don't really know what this miracle is. Guess there's like the miracle of a pretty landscape, but I just wanted to draw this, so I did. And I decided since it's the last episode, let's cut me some slack, guys. Let's just let me do what I want to do. Okay, so far for the coloring, all I'm doing is a base with watercolor. I'm doing the grass and the sky with some blues and greens because I actually have a big surprise for you guys coming up, and it's a new coloring method that I haven't ever had for my Create This book, and I just now got. Check it out. Poscas. The author of this book, Mariah Elizabeth, loves these things, so I thought I'd finally give them a try. They're quite expensive, so actually the only reason I have them is because I am borrowing them from my sister. But I used them in all 3 of these pages because I thought might as well use them while we have them now since we haven't had them for the whole series. And let's just say they were a lot of fun. This first one, I used them on the clouds, and then I also used them on the flowers and used them on the butterflies, and it was just a great experience. Honestly, I loved using them. They were so smooth, so bright, so colorful. I definitely understand the hype because these were so much fun and they were so easy. Also, this is my first page after not having done any Create This Book 2 for a while, so I want to do something easy that would help me warm up, and butterflies and flowers was a nice, easy warm up, and it was really fun. So now all I had to do was add some final details with this little jelly roll pen, which I love this jelly roll pen, especially on the Poscas. It showed up so bright and white. I kept going back in with the Poscas and adding a few more details, like outlining the hills and adding a little bit more to the butterflies. But then all that was left was to add a nice matte layer of Mod Podge, and the page was completed. I love how this page turned out. It's really, really cute, and although I didn't really follow the prompt, it was still a lot of fun anyway. Create a new prompt. Choose 2 pages in this book. Combine their instructions to form a totally new prompt. I had been waiting on this page because I was so excited for it, and I finally decided to combine the Create Layers page and the Create Drips page. So my final prompt is Create Layered Drips. I actually didn't really like how either my Create Layered page or my Create Drips page turned out, so I was hoping to kind of reclaim my glory by doing this page way better than I did those. I started off drawing a bunch of different size circles. I can't really remember what my idea for this was going to be. I think there was going to be like bubbles or something, but I ended up erasing all of this and starting fresh. So basically I drew like the different layers of the earth. So we have the sky at the top, and then like the tops of the trees, and then like the earth with like these worms and these ants, and then the bottom is like the underground and the caves. So I brought out my Prismacolor colored pencils, but I am just doing the background again with these because I am going to be breaking up my Poscas once again. I didn't blend this too much or anything. I just kind of threw some color down there because I figured that the Poscas would kind of clean it all up. So for the top, I obviously did some blue, and then I did more blue for the sky, but I did a lighter color, and then some brown for the dirt area. This is actually a lot harder than I thought because you had to like work around all the other areas, and it was hard. And then I just did gray for the bottom. This is when I thought I was ready to get my Poscas out, but I was actually mistaken because I quickly realized that there really was not enough colors for me to do this whole thing in Poscas. So I brought out my I don't know. I brought out my other art markers to do the basic job, and then I would bring the Poscas in for the drips. I didn't realize it at the time, but it's very clear that I'm actually staining my backdrop as I'm doing this because the markers just totally bled right through the paper, but it's alright because this is the last episode, so this will be the last time I'm really using this background, but as you can see, just totally getting ruined. At this point, things were coming along, but they were honestly looking quite boring, so I was really excited to finally get the Poscas back out and add some detail in there. I started off by outlining the trees in the only green color that I have in Posca, and then I did yellow on the sun, blue on the clouds, and I added some little ants in the dirt area. And now that I finally finished that up, it was time to bring in the drips. So first I had to go and outline the edges of these layers with the correct color Posca pen. I did the color that matched with the layer above it because it was going to be dripping down into the other one. I was honestly a little bit nervous that the drips were going to look tacky, but I actually think the drips turned out really cute. They were really fun, a cute little addition, and it honestly added to the piece instead of taking away from it. Since that was the final step, I had to add some Mod Podge, which I went back to my foam brush after the other brush I used last time got my page all messed up. And here we are at the final page. This is my final normal page, and I love the way it turned out. I'm so glad I ended it on a good note. It is so fun, so cool looking, and I'm just glad to have combined these two prompts. Alright, I know I said this is it, but this is really it. The final page. Create an official end. Finishing date? Here. So here I go with the finishing page. I decided to keep it simple. I'm just going to write the date, but I was going to write it very large. So the date was June 30th, 2022 when I finished this book. So I wrote the numbers really big, and then I used my Poscas. Whenever the page was black, I drew it with white, and whenever it was white, I drew in with black, if that makes sense. It's like an inverse sort of moment, and although this concept was pretty easy, going over this with the Poscas and filling every single little section actually took a long time because that was a lot of ground to cover. Especially the white, I had to go over it like 2 or 3 times to get it to show up, and the black kept like running out of ink, but I was determined to use it the whole time. But at this point, the motivation to finish the book was so strong that I did this all in like one sitting. I was determined to get this finished because it's been a long time in the making, guys. It's literally been like over 2.5 years. It's been a long time. Once I was coming around to the end, I was considering adding some color, but then I decided to just add a little silver outline around it with a silver Sharpie instead. I think that turned out really cool. It just gave it a little final pop. You can't see it that much, but trust me, it's there. I think it makes it look a lot cooler. And with that, that is the entire book completed. I cannot believe we have finally made it, and I cannot wait to show you guys the complete book and the flip through. I like how this page turned out too. It's nice and simple, but it was a fun idea, and I really think I executed it well. And now, let me see you guys in the outro to talk about what's next. And that was the very final page of Create This Book 2. There are 100 prompts, and it took me a very long time to complete them all. And in fact, I definitely would not have completed them all if it were not for you guys keeping me accountable on my YouTube channel. And I'm going to be doing a flip through of this entire book coming up soon within the next couple months. So make sure you stay subscribed and watch out for that video because it's going to be really fun. I'm going to look back at every single piece of art that I completed. Some bad art, some good art, all of it. To all of you guys that have been watching from the very first episode when I was 14, maybe even 13, when I was terrible at art but still posting it anyway, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!